Ashley Anderson, and I'm taking a lateral radiograph of the radius ulna. So this is our patient, Lexi. So I have labeled her into our system with her name and her date. I've marked that we're doing the right extremity lateral. Our chart is up here. So you can see because she is between 0 and 20 pounds for the extremity, we're going to do 52 kVp and 10 MAs. So I'm going to change it up here to 52 and 10. So she's on right lateral. So I'm going to collimate her in so that we just get the extremity. So right now I'm just kind of seeing where it is. So I kind of like this view here.
Okay.
So I'm going to get gloves on.
Good girl. Good girl, Lex.
For positioning, I want the joint above and the joint below. So I want her carpus and her elbow joint. So we are going to pull her in on her tiny little foot. I'm going to collimate this in just a little bit. And we're going to shoot. I'm going to try that again. So our pedal's a little tricky.
Is it ready? Hook up for me over there too.
Yep. Perfect. So then you can see this is a view of the radius ulna. We can go over here and rotate it.
Both of them.
Rotate it there, so you can see we have the joint above and a joint below. We could actually collimate it down because we actually got her entire arm, but it's just kind of difficult because she's so little. But we can actually, before we send it out, crop that area. This is Ashley Anderson. I'm going to take a radiograph of the right lateral stifle. So our patient's here. She's already in our computer here labeled. I selected right stifle. So I'm going to go here. And we're doing extremity, so we're going to have 52 kVp and 10 MAs. So you can see this already set it from our last radiograph. So we're going to have her lying on right lateral. We are going to turn this on. I'm going to fully extend this leg out so it's not in the film. And do this. We're going to make sure we get the joint above and below. It's going to be in our last position. And then we're going to shoot. Lexi.
It's okay, baby girl.
Okay, I'm going to try that one more time. So here is our view, so we can rotate it. And so you have a nice view. I could have gone a little bit higher to included the joint above, but she was a little bit moving, but you can see we get the whole lateral of the stifle here. This is Ashley Anderson. I'm going to take a radiograph of the left lateral thorax. So I have selected it here on our computer. Our patient is correctly labeled here. So I go to our chart. For thorax, we're going to do 70 kVp and 5 MAs. So I'm going to change it up here. Our patient's going to be in left lateral.
It's okay, Lexi.
middle where her rib cage ends into the thoracic inlet for my landmarks. Can you get the lights, please? Because she's so white, it's hard to see where it is. So
Gotcha.
I'm going to collimate her out just a little bit. She's really fluffy and a little chunky, so it's kind of hard to feel. This is good. I'm going to make sure my marker is here. And we're going to shoot. So we definitely get the lungs here in her heart. We do get a good portion of her abdomen, but she was a little bit harder to feel because you can see she's got some fat on her. So as far as collimating, we could have definitely collimated a little bit better. This is Ashley Anderson. I'm doing the right lateral abdomen radiograph. So I have my patient's information in here correctly. I selected abdomen right lateral. So I'm going to go up to here, and he's going to be 90 kVp and 5 MAs. So I'm going to do 90. And you can see we have a ferocious patient here. So we are going to collimate in. So I want the end of the diaphragm into the sacrum for my landmarks. So I'm going to get him on the side. Going to cover this hand. And then I'm going to put his head down here that he wants to see. And then we're going to shoot. Perfect. Good boy. So I'm actually pretty happy with this radiograph, the way we collimated it. You can see our markers in there. We got the edge of the diaphragm to the sacrum. The only thing that I would change is kind of collimate more a little bit deeper, but he's kind of deep chested, and so it looks good. I'm Ashley Anderson. I'm going to take right lateral spine, cervical spine radiographs. So my patient information is in here. I selected spine right lateral. I'm going to go up here to the spine. So there's a spine and a C-spine, so I'm going to use the C-spine since we're dealing with the cervical. So I'm going to do 62 kVp and 8 MAs. Well, we only have options between 7.5 and 9, so we're going to do 7.5. So we're going to collimate so that we get his cervical spine from C1 all the way to C7. So we're going to get the base of his skull to T1. I'm going to rotate his head so that the spine is straight. We're going to flex his legs in. So I'm going to rotate his head so that it's straight with our marker. And then we're going to shoot. Stay. Stay. Let's see. So our patient was a little bit moving, but we were still able to get that. So you can see we get the base of his skull, and then we get all the way up to the T1. And so I'm happy with the penetration power and the detail of this radiograph. This is Ashley Anderson, and I'm going to take a VD of pelvis. So we have the patient's information here. The birth date, I selected pelvis VD. I go up to our chart here, and because he's between 21 and 45 pounds, I'm going to scroll down the pelvis and set the settings to 70 kVp and 8 MAs. So 70. And then we only have the option between 9 and 7.5, so I'm going to, because he is I'm gonna do 7.5 and see how that looks. If it's not, if I don't like the contrast, then I can just go up and retake it as 9. So I'm going to get him straight. Put the marker in since that's his right side. I'm going to push him in, rotate his knees, and it's just hard to do with colors.
Stick it underneath, trim it, no, look, under the pad. Yeah, way under, keep going. Okay. Hopefully that's enough. We'll see.
So he's being a very good boy. So we're gonna twist and then very gently extend him. There we go. And then we're going to shoot.
Oopsie.
So we obviously missed half of his hip, so we're gonna retake that one. So we are going to turn the lights off so we can see, since he's got white fur, and make sure we get him in here this time.
Alright.
So let's scoot the whole thing over in
A little more. Okay. Wee!
this. Rufus.
He's okay, good boy.
Rufus boy.
He's okay, good boy. We got you. Shh. One more time.
So
Make sure none of those are past 17. Okay.
so I'm going to
Oopsie. That's silly.
so we're
Uh-oh. Whoops, we're gonna do it one more time.
yeah, so we're gonna do that one more time.
Oh, this is past 17.
All right. All right. One last try. These are usually better when they're sedated because it makes them relax. I think we got this time. Perfect. So you can see we got the full of the femur and then the full view of the pelvis. We got his hips rotated in. And I'm happy with this. This is Ashley Anderson, and I'm taking dental radiographs. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the plate and I'm going to do a parallel angle. So I'm going to take this on the lower arcade and without causing too much trauma, align this plate in the back. Then I'm going to look at my settings here. This dog is medium, and we're doing the lower premolars, so the setting's going to be 8 seconds. So I'm going to change this to the molars to 8 seconds. And then with a paralleling angle, I'm going to take a picture. And I'm going to shoot. So there's one, and you can see the roots. And then the next view I'm going to do will be the bisecting technique on the uppers. So I'm going to take this plate back here. So it's parallel back here with this tooth. And with the bisecting angle. So I have to change my settings to the upper, so it's going to be the 10 seconds. And then add an angle back here. And you can see I got the roots on that one. Okay. This is Ashley Anderson, and I am doing a GI series simulation. So the first thing I have is my stuffed dog that I have a bag in here for the dog's stomach and a hole in the mouth. I have all of my necessary equipment. I have the barium, I have a tube, I have gauze, syringes, lubricant, and a marker to mark it with. So the first step of a barium series is you take what we call a scout radiograph, and so it's just a before picture before you administer the barium. So this dog here is 0 to 20 pounds. So for his abdomen, I'm going to change his KVP to 80 and the MAs to 5. And it's already set on 5. I'm going to collimate in. Here. So even though it's a stuffed dog, we still want the same landmarks, and so he's kind of twisted, just how the stuffed animal is, I guess. So I'm going to collimate in to get his abdomen. So if he had ribs, it'd go from the back of his ribs all the way up here. I've never collimated a stuffed animal, so we'll see how this goes. I'm going to make sure I have my marker on the right side. I'm going to put my safety gloves on to protect my hands. And then I'm going to pull his legs back and push the pedal. And we're going to have to retake that one because the pedal is a little funny. So let it retake. Let's try this again. One more time. So now that this patient is collimated, and the marker is placed in here, we're going to press on the pedal. So now that the patient is on the right lateral, I'm going to extend its leg back. And then we're going to shoot. So this is our stuffed dog. You can see that there's no barium in here. So there's that. And then we're going to administer the barium. So, if this was a real patient, the first thing I would do is take the tube. I'm going to measure from the snout to where the stomach is to make sure we don't go too far. So I really don't want the tube to go past here, so I'm going to mark it. With the patient, obviously be a little more gentle than this. You take the roll gauze in here. And that just keeps the mouth open so that they don't clamp down on the tube. So you lubricate the end of the tube. And then you insert it down the esophagus, making sure that it goes down and not down the trachea. So there's my mark. I'm just going to make sure that it's actually in the bag. Okay. So this is my barium. So I'm going to shake it really well. Take my syringe and kind of just pull some back. Then with the patient, I'm going to insert the barium down the tube into the stomach. And then let's discard this. So if this was a real dog, we would wait a half hour and we would take a VD and a right lateral, and then we would take another one in 60 minutes, VD and lateral. But since this is a simulation, we can go ahead and take it. So it's going to be in the same position as the dog was before. So it's the same exact setting. So it's still the 80 MAs and the 5 kp. I'm sorry, the 5 MAs and the 80 kVp. And then we're going to shoot. We're going to do that one more time. Our pedal's a little tricky. It doesn't really like to work. Okay, let's try that one more time. I'm going to keep the tube in here just to mimic the esophagus. So you can actually see the tube, and then you can actually see the plastic bag with the barium. And so we're going to take a VD. Go ahead and take the VD. And you can see that the stomach is here and the barium went through. And that's how you do a barium series.